What's going on, everyone? It is last call for fantasy football. As always, myself, Kyle, and Justin here for another episode. It's been a minute since we've actually recorded one of these. We have a couple in reserve. We got busy with the holiday, 4th of July weekend, and now we're back at it with another exciting mock draft that we decided to kind of switch it up a little bit, and we'll get into that here in a second. Just throwing this out there, we didn't do a ton before this as far as prep or anything. We're just going off the cuff to do a mock draft. It's mock draft season for us here. I'm sitting at work, Justin's sitting at work, and I get a notification. I'm like, oh, thank God I have something that's not scrolling Twitter or Instagram. So we ran through a couple and we came up with this idea. But I'll let Justin explain a little bit about what we're doing today.
Yeah, so basically, you've always heard, what is it, zero RB strategy or um, running back only strategy or whatever. Basically, one of us is going to draft heavy wide receiver team. So we're going to prioritize wide receivers the first, four picks. And then one of us is going to prioritize running backs for the first four picks. And we're going to decide which team is better at the end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take wide receivers, and Kyle's going to take running backs, and we're going to draft at the is it five?
Yes, no, it's the six and
Six.
seven spot in a 10-man league. We like doing 10-man leagues. It's what our home league is, and it just allows for, I don't know, I just like the way that your team structures at the end of it. So we do a 10-man league here, so we'll do at draft from the 6th and 7th. I'll be at the 6th, Justin will be at the 7th. And just from our own perspective, what that means, we were talking right before we hit record. Like, what do you mean? What are we talking about? Wide receiver heavy, running back heavy? Are we doing first three picks, whatever? And I said, let's just leave it up to our interpretation of what that means to focus your fantasy roster around your position of choice, wide receiver, running back. So we're just going to take a crack at it. We got the sleeper mock draft pulled up here.
Yep. And the reason we did the 6th and the 7th spot, though, was strategic because we thought, like, if Kyle is doing running backs and he gets Christian McCaffrey, that's way different than if he gets Bijan or Jonathan Taylor or Breece Hall.
Right.
It's also different if I get Tyreek Hill or CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
It's just a major difference. So
Yeah.
we went 6 and 7 because that's right after like the kind of elite running back and elite receiver.
Yeah, because those elites, they don't just count as a top tier running back or receiver, like a number one wide receiver running back. They account for essentially two players at one. If you've had Christian McCaffrey, lucky enough to have that man any of the last 3-4 years minus the 1 year, that's like having two players on your roster. So we wanted to get past those elites or having Tyreek Hill, torch your opponents for the last 3 years and count for two players because he's going for 180 and two, So we wanted to move just past that to really get into the heart of what it would mean to focus around the guys that would be available then. So let me switch us over here. We got our sleeper draft pulled up. And it's standard. We prefer standard scoring. I know a lot of people like half PPR, PPR. I don't like its disproportionate scoring. I think it's a bit whack, but everyone says that's old fashioned. We might get there. We might get there eventually.
Yeah,
I might be open to half, but we'll see.
I'm open to half, but I just I don't like
I won
Michael Pittman being a top 5 wide receiver last year because he got a dick ton of passes.
I won a championship probably 3 years ago with Devontae Freeman and J.D. McKissick as my running backs because they were catching 80 balls in a season. Like, it was nuts. So, anyways, I digress. We move on. We will see how this draft starts. I'm at the 6th spot, and I'm going to prioritize running backs, see what this build looks like. Justin is going to do wide receivers, and I'm curious to see how it starts out.
Yeah.
Who do you predict will be the wide receiver that gets to you before we pull up ADP, before we pull up anything like that?
Amon-Ra might slide to me, especially since I know you're gonna take a running back.
That's true. I guess with you knowing that,
Um, I think he's guaranteed to slide to me. Actually, him or
I,
Jamar Chase.
in these, dude, I've seen Amon Ra go first in these sleeper mock drafts. Which, if
Well,
you
yeah.
want to take Amon Ra first overall, go for it, bro. I can't fault you. Actually, everyone should take Christian McCaffrey. I don't care what anyone says. So if you want to take him second overall, I'm cool with that. But
Yeah.
without further ado,
Wait. Beer of the day.
I was just that was what I
Oh,
was
that's what
further
you're doing?
doing.
I thought you were saying further ado. Let's start the draft.
Without further
Okay, we're on
ado,
the same page.
let's bring on the flight.
We're back
England.
with the flight. It's just making its reappearance on the show.
Buy one get one free at
Is
Publix.
we are actually not really that big of fans of it, but it's good.
I
And it
know.
was buy one get
Damn,
one
that was
free.
really.
So
I said today. I was talking to my girlfriend. I was sitting there. I'm like, I don't think it's that good. It kind of has a metallic aftertaste. Do
I
you?
think I like it more than a normal Yingling, to be honest with you. As far as just like being able to drink it, like kind of binge drink it. Like I don't like binge drinking Yingling.
Well, because they're just thick and heavy.
Yeah.
And they hit. Yinglings hit kind of hard. So there it is. Get it, Zelda.
Don't eat that. Hey.
The last call pup is making her appearance as she does. Oh, good girl.
Of course,
All
she comes in as I do that.
right. And she's going to be our final witness for when my team evidently.
She's gonna pick which team's best, actually.
Right. And we're not going to be a hung jury here. We are not leaving this episode until one of us convinces the other that
Oh
that
gosh.
team is better.
All right, so buckle in, guys. This is gonna be about
6-hour
24-hour episode because me and Kyle always think our team is the best.
Hey. Except I'm usually right. All right, let's go. Oh, what is it saying? Yes. Start the draft. And McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan, St. Brown, Amon-Ra. Damn, that really sucks.
Dang, Bijan went.
So,
Wow, that leaves me with Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase for my pick, but
I've got Justin can't see it, but I've got the ADP list up. Oh no, he can see it on his phone. So let's take a glance over at the running backs here. I don't think there's a real question for me who should be the third running back off the board. It's really a question of Bijan or Brees for me at this spot. If I'm here and or after the Christian McCaffrey draft pick, which should be number one. So if
who would you take between Gibbs and Taylor though?
we ain't there yet, my guy.
Okay,
they
I'm
might
just
come
asking,
back.
bro.
No, they ain't
They're
coming
not coming back.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs is more fun. I think it's like a spicier pick. Like that's shooting for the moon with Jahmyr.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan Taylor.
I think there's a lot more risk with Gibbs.
Sure, I don't think there's risk. I don't think there's risk in involvement. I think Jonathan Taylor might have a higher median of his, average score. Like
Yeah.
I think
He'll be more consistent.
Gibbs
sure.
can get you some 6-7 point games. 5, 6, 7 point games if he doesn't score. But I think I don't know. It's tough. I think Jonathan Taylor is in more of a workhorse role, but we'll see. We'll see how the picks shake out here. But it's obvious that my pick is Brees Hall at the running back 3 spot because it's between Bijan and Brees for me. To me, it's like you can't go wrong. One of the guys is gonna. I mean, they're both gonna be successful, right? Brees Hall, hopefully, if Aaron Rodgers can lead the Jets to somewhat successful season, Brees Hall's reception numbers are probably going to come down because they're not inept at throwing the ball down the field anymore. But Bijan hasn't necessarily put up that wide receiver or running back 2 finish like he's being drafted here. So that's something that is a yellow flag for him. Meanwhile, Brees Hall, I think he finished the running back 4 last year. So you've seen a floor or a ceiling for him already. So pick your poison. I'm going with Brees. Who you got, J-Bo?
Yeah. Just one last thing on the running backs. I just, me personally, I am a Colts fan, but also I just remember how good Jonathan Taylor was the year that he, had his year.
Finished
It
as the
was
running back
the
one.
running back one. I mean, I think he had a game of over 50 points. So to me, we've never seen Bijan, Brees, or Gibbs come close to doing anything like that, having a Dalvin Cook, McCaffrey, Taylor year. So I think Jonathan Taylor's being slept on there. He should probably be the second running back off the board if we're being realistic. But I do
It's a
understand
hot
it's
take.
more fun to take the rookies, or not the rookies, but the younger talent. And yeah.
I don't think you can
But
go wrong.
anyways, so our draft is screwed now because Tyreek Hill ended up coming to me.
See,
Um,
but the variance can happen.
Honestly, it would be a tough pick for me though. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not that in on Tyreek Hill.
I mean, you don't. If you think that he's lost a step or he
I
isn't
don't, but
that
I just
same,
think Jamar Chase hasn't had his year yet, and I think he's more than talented to have that year. So I could very well see it being this year. Whereas like Tyreek Hill does have Waddle on the team, and he has a less talented quarterback. So, but I'm gonna take Tyreek Hill.
I and there's the massive run. So, oh, look at that. So, I don't. I see. I told you. I told you you'd come back. So, in a perfect world, Justin would most likely take Jonathan
I would
Taylor
take
here.
Jonathan Taylor here, 100%,
Keep that
and
same
I am going to.
energy when we come at the end and you tell me who you'd rather have as your second round pick when you're talking about this
I
wide
got
receiver.
Tyreek Hill, so I don't know. You got fucking Brees Hall.
Yeah. Yeah, I got fucking Brees Hall. That's you
Man,
need a
see,
better inflection. So you can't do it. You can't take
this pick sucks. I think the second round wide receivers, in my opinion, they scare me
they should.
because I'm not big on like Drake London's never done it. I don't know why he's going in the second round. Um, Devontae Adams is scary just
Hope,
because
promise,
his
glory.
quarterbacks. Chris Olave could have his season. I mean, I'm not that out on Derek Carr. I think he could still have some left in the tank.
Well, okay. Chris Olave was the wide receiver 24 last year. He wasn't as someone who had him on his team. He had 1,100 yards, but only 5 touchdowns. So like, there's possibility there. Um,
Yeah, he had a
but
good season.
but I think he's been in that. This is what year 3 now for him.
Yeah.
So he has been here in this exact spot the last 2 years. So should it go
Yeah.
up? Should it go down?
Anyways, um, if I'm gonna take Marvin Harrison here, I'm not somebody who
Ooh.
I don't like that Marvin Harrison's going this high, but since I have Tyreek Hill, I know he's gonna be consistent. I know he's gonna be good,
Right.
so I don't mind taking like a little bit of a risk.
Right.
Um, he can have more time. Like
All
my
right.
team will be okay if he doesn't show out until week 4.
See, you gave me a point. Now I gave you. Now I'm gonna give you a point. That's, from my opinion, that's the only situation where I'm comfortable taking Marvin Harrison. There is if you have one of those top four.
Right.
Tyreek Hill fell to and top 5 if you want to throw Jamar Chase in there, but I think Jamar Chase has more variance in consistency than
Yeah.
the rest of those. So I'm going to keep it at 4. If you have one of those top 4 guys, then you can afford the gamble on Marvin Harrison because they're going to carry you the first 4 weeks. Like they have that guaranteed volume. So Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, not bad. But is it as good as Brees Hall and Jonathan Taylor? We will see.
I don't know. I
Because
do like the Jonathan Taylor pick there.
so okay.
Not that you had a
Clearly,
choice, but
the uh what is it? Clearly the first 2 rounds are full of elite players. So you're gonna, if you go back to back, wide receiver, running back, they're gonna look great to you. So
Yeah.
yours looks great, mine looks great, but this is where it starts to be okay. How does me catering my team and the structure, how does it affect the rest of my draft? So here at running backs at the top of the ADP, I got Devon Achane, Achan, Devon Achan, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, James Cook, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, and just looking at the ADP at the top, there's not many running backs until we get there's a massive tier break here. So, and just like your variance with Marvin Harrison with the reliable Tyreek Hill, I'm gonna do Achan with my other two studs here. I didn't necessarily need to go running back for this purpose of this experiment, but I could have gone, a tight end, quarterback, whatever. But to get Achan as my third running back, I think is fantastic. He scares me. He for sure scares me as my running back one. And
It's definitely tough because he's only had 2 games or 2 or 3 games where he's actually been good at all.
well,
But
the
he
man
was
had
insane.
what? He had a crazy efficiency number. What was it? He had
Yeah, like 8 yards of carry or something like that.
yeah, he had what is it? 100 attempts for 803 attempts for 800 yards. So
That's fucking spot on.
no, seriously,
Eight yards of carry.
and he scored 8 touchdowns. Granted, I'm sure all 8 came in that game against my poor Broncos, but
At
he
least 2 of them did.
yeah. So and he's well, that's just rushing touchdowns. He added 3 more in the receiving game. So as the same point with Marvin Harrison and Tyreek and the consistency, that's what I'm saying I can do here at a third round cost. And I think we're going to be really interested to see how this shakes out. So,
I'm really surprised you didn't take Nico Collins there, but I'm glad you did it because I think the first 3 rounds, I think we should kind of exaggerate it. You know what I mean?
yeah. And if you think,
Exaggerate the heavy running back versus wide receiver.
yeah,
And so right here, I'd probably take Pacheco or another running back, but instead, I am going to take a wide receiver. I'm going to take. It's a tough decision between, for me, Debo Samuel and Nico Collins. Debo Samuel is looking pretty good right now with the Brandon Ayuk trade request.
he's coming back. He'll
He'll
play
be
in San
back, but
Francisco.
I do like Debo anyways. I think Debo and Ayuk are a pair that I don't. Debo had a year with Ayuk on the team where he was the wide receiver 2. And he was only the wide receiver 2 because Cooper Kupp had the best season of all time. So it's not like it's set in stone that, Ayuk is the one. They could go back and forth each year where it's Debo's year, it's Ayuk's year, it's Debo's year. So I'm still pretty in on him, to be honest. But Nico Collins was just awesome last year.
He was great.
And they gave him a fat contract. He looks to be the wide receiver 1 for that team as far as I think he'll get at least 8 catches a game. Tank Dell might have some more explosive games, but Nico Collins proved that he has that in the tank as well. Like he had, 194 yards in one game and like 2 touchdowns.
Nico,
Yeah,
he had
something like that.
195 and 1. Oh, and then he had 191 and 1 against Denver, and then 195 and 1 against Indy. Oof, both our teams got torched by Nico Collins.
Well,
Um,
either way, that's insane to have 3 games where he's a catch away from 200 yards. Oh my gosh! So yeah,
he had
we're
games
gonna take
last year
Nico
with
Collins here.
just yardage 146, 168, 104, 191, and 195.
Yeah.
He didn't have too many. He had a handful of bust games. He had a handful of bust games, but you know, for rookie CJ Stroud, Nico could very well be the wide receiver 1. We've talked about it at length on this show. One of those Texans receivers is going to be an alpha in fantasy this year. my bets on Nico, I've said that before. I'm rising on Tank Dell a little bit and more as the offseason comes.
I'm
Um,
I'm rising on him as a player because you can draft him
right.
pretty low. I'm not rising on him as being the wide receiver one for the team. But I do like that I thought his draft price was going to be way too high for my liking, and it actually hasn't been the case.
Yeah. So you can
I'm
take
sure
him
we'll
right
get to
here.
him later.
You can go double up on your.
No, thank you. I think I'm done with the wide receivers at this point.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe.
At the top of the ADP
Um,
for wide
Here
receivers, you could
is
do
what sucks for both of us.
what?
Neither of us, you don't have any wide receivers. I don't have any running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the elite quarterbacks and tight ends start to go.
Right.
So here's where it also affects that as well. Um,
Yeah.
so that makes this choice a little tough here
So because you could,
because do I
if
want to
you
go Lamar
wanted to
Jackson? Do
do
I want to go
the,
Trey McBride?
yeah, you could take the elite, um, onesie positions. You could take, I mean, obviously Hurts, Mahomes, and Allen are gone at quarterback, but there's still elite options at quarterback, elite options at tight end. So you could just prioritize your like those position groups and then figure out running back later. That's a full on zero RB if you do that. Or you could find some value here and then figure out the rest on the way down. So I'm curious to see what you think would result in the best
I think
turnaround.
I'm going to try to do a mix. So I don't think I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to do it with this pick. I'll probably try to get a good run quarterback or tight end on my next pick, but here I'm going to take my first running back. It may surprise some, but I'm actually going to go James Cook here. I actually looked at his stats a couple days ago, and I was just curious, what if James Cook had a normal amount of touchdowns for the season?
Yeah.
He would have been, I believe, the running back 2 or 3
I mean,
on the
yeah,
season.
he finished
Had he
as
just I'm not even saying like an extraordinary amount. I'm saying just 10 touchdowns.
well, that's quite a bit. 10 touchdowns is a
That's
lot.
I would say that's pretty average for
A top 5 running back.
no.
10 touchdowns is a lot. Double digit touchdowns
I would
is a
like
lot.
to know. I would like to see, but I bet you there's at least 10 running backs this past season that had 10 touchdowns.
I mean, McCaffrey obviously did. McCaffrey had a million. He had 14 rushing and 7 receiving. My man had 21 touchdowns.
And also, I was saying 10 total,
Okay. I mean,
including receiving.
well, he finished
All I'm
as
saying is it's not anything insane. He had 2 touchdowns last year, 1 receiving, 1 rushing.
yeah, I felt it in my freaking bones.
Anyways, if you give him 8 more touchdowns, which I don't think is that crazy. That's not even a touchdown a game,
I think it's
which
a lot.
most elite running backs get about a touchdown a game. He would have been like the running back 2 or 3. He still would have been 100 points behind McCaffrey. But
But you say that like that didn't happen for a reason. It's like, oh, he just didn't get the touchdowns. They said, you, sir, you do not get touchdowns.
they don't have that option this year.
What do you mean they didn't have the option last year and they did it? Freaking Latavius
Yeah,
Murray and Leonard Fournette they
They
signed.
had. I don't think Leonard Fournette's on the team still.
No. I said they signed like last year. I said they
But
had
that's what
the
I'm saying. They
opportunity.
had Leonard Fournette, who's a veteran, who is great at scoring touchdowns. They had Latavius Murray, who's a veteran, who's great at scoring touchdowns. They don't have that this year. They cut all ties, and towards the end of the year is when they started to give him the workload. So I don't know. That's my personal opinion. Is touchdowns are not a sticky stat.
It is true, but
It is more true for running backs, I will say. There are some running backs through history that have kind of struggled, but 2 touchdowns, come on.
it could go up, yes. But
It will go up. He's going to have more than 2 touchdowns this year.
if I had to bet on it going up, yes, because 2 touchdowns is astronomically low. But
If I had to
last
bet
year,
an over under on my house as the bet,
Well, yes.
I would at least set the line around 5 or 6.
I think I saw somewhere where his Vegas touchdown line for the year is at 4.5.
I would bet the over on that. That's total touchdowns or rushing it.
Total touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely bet the over on that.
But I'm just
That's all I'm
saying.
saying.
But I'm just saying it wasn't like, oh, he got the rock at the 2 yard line. He just didn't get in. They had to kick a field goal. Like, that sucks. He wasn't given the opportunity unless he was going to punch it in from 20 yards out, which he can do. It's just, what are you? 1 in 50 chance every carry outside
But
the 20-yard line he takes it to
okay,
the house?
I think that point you just made is why I think he'll have more touchdowns this year. He didn't get the opportunity last year. They have a new offensive coordinator.
Same one as last year.
No, I believe they do have a new offensive
No, it's Joe
coordinator.
Brady. He was new. They fired their previous
Yeah.
OC, and that's when yes,
Yeah, and you have way more opportunity in the
Yes.
second half.
not at the goal
I would
line.
be more scared if it was an efficiency problem where
Yeah.
it's like he just gets all these opportunities and he doesn't make it in the end zone. That would scare me. The fact that he just didn't get a lot of opportunities, I don't know. Personally, it doesn't scare me. I'm taking him here.
All right, even more ammo for me to shit on your team. All right, so Brees Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achan, lightning quick, like home run capability from all three. I'm satisfied with that. If I wanted to go macho man and go for another running back at this point in time, I wouldn't. Like, I'm just not a huge fan with ADP the way it is.
Come on.
There's no need. There's no need to do that.
Dude, Stephon Diggs is right there, dude. Come on.
I
Come on.
really like Stephon Diggs, but I'm willing to be wrong this year. DJ Moore with the rookie quarterback as my wide
You
receiver
don't want
one.
Neighbors?
No, Malik Neighbors. I'm slowly getting more worried that he's not just going to dominate targets there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What gives you that idea? Daniel Jones?
well, I'm talking about targets. They may not hit the broadside of a barn, but they can be in his direction with him being the focal point. I'm just not sure.
Drake London and Garrett Wilson prove that doesn't matter.
Right. And just, I'm looking here at ADP. I think the guys that I want to come back to me just might. So I'm going to do Trey McBride.
Okay. I thought you weren't in on him.
I am. When push comes to
I
shove,
thought you liked Mark Andrews over him.
I do.
You said that. You
I
told
do,
me that.
based off of ADP. Their ADP has changed drastically. Trey McBride, he was the tight end 3 here. I think just a mere weeks ago, we were doing mock drafts. Trey McBride was the one in the 3rd round in the
Yeah, I think you're right.
beginning of the 3rd, and Mark Andrews was buried in the 6th. Mark Andrews is an ADP of 48 right here. He was 2 spots apart in ADP with Trey McBride. So that's where the difference came. Was I would have rather taken Andrews in the 6th than McBride in the 4th. So
yeah,
I'm locked in. I'm going all-star power, and this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to take my boy Cooper Kupp as my wide receiver 1.
Oh wow, I like that a lot actually.
I think that, like, if you're gonna go,
I think Cooper Kupp and DK Metcalf are being heavily slept on this year.
and if Cooper Kupp wasn't here, DK Metcalf would have been my pick. Obviously, it was vice versa. Metcalf was gone earlier. But if you're going to, my advice, if you're going to do this, RB, tight end or quarterback, whatever, and not take a wide receiver till late, at least take a bona fide 1. The number 1 wide receiver on that team with a guaranteed target share, guaranteed touchdown opportunity. I think that Cooper Kupp is still the one, and we've talked about this. Justin and I are still in agreement. I think Cooper Kupp can still be the one for Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
I think he will be the one if he's
He
healthy.
had more targets and receptions in the red zone last year than Puka Nacua did, despite missing all the games. Like, he's still that guy, and I'm
I think
willing
Puka
to.
is great.
Right, and me too. But Puka went and the first pick of the
but
second round.
I can't believe how high he's going. Honestly,
I mean, they think it can only go up from there, but it's kind of hard to go up from what 1,400 yards and double-digit touchdowns. If did he even hit that mark? I'm not sure. But still,
and
I
we're
rest my case. If
and we're not talking about. It's not like Cooper Cup was just there all season,
right,
not good. He was just not there
my man's
the
missed a
entire
bunch
season.
of games. Need to
So
miss the
like,
whole season,
even
but
if he isn't as good, he's still gonna demand 120 targets this year.
I
So those targets are not going to Puka. So
that's
I don't see any way if Cooper Cup is healthy. Maybe it doesn't translate into Cooper Cup being the wide receiver one like we think, but I still don't think that Puka will finish anywhere near where he's being drafted.
and I think it just goes to show that Cooper Cup has a possibility to still be that one, which I think is my whole point here. That needs to be, you need to have that as your wide receiver one in the third or fourth or fifth round if you're going to go heavy like I did there. So I'm super, super
Yeah.
happy with Cooper Cup right here.
I'm ecstatic at my pick. I think Kyle already knows who I'm picking here. I'd
Um,
actually like you to guess. Do it.
well,
It's not a hard guess, I don't think.
I think it's Anthony Richardson.
It's not.
Oh, well, if you're going to go back to receiver, well, I can't imagine you'd go back to receiver. Oh, you're going to go Mark Andrews.
Nah, that's
Why,
they're
why, why are you
all
making
the,
me make your picks for you, bro? Giving you all this
I just
advice.
thought you would. I just want to see. I thought you would be on the same page with me. I mean, I have no running back, so I'm going Kenneth Walker here.
Oh, okay.
I think this is an awesome pick. I think that I've got two running backs that have the potential of finishing up where the running backs in the first 3 rounds went, and I still have this locked and loaded wide receiver group here. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Kenneth Walker, and I'm gonna cross my fingers and pray to the gods that Anthony Richardson comes back to me.
Well, you got a good shot unless Team 9 decides to take a quarterback. Oh, you lucky SOB. They did, and they picked the wrong one.
Woo! Let's
All right.
go. I will say, I'm really tempted to take James Conner Montgomery here. Truthfully,
Tough decision.
here's the thing. This year I'm at a crossroads. In the past, I've always been a person who takes the quarterback late. Not like super late. I don't punt the position, but Kyle can attest. I've always taken like the Matthew Stafford or I mean this year like Jordan Love, Joe Burrow. I'll wait until the 8th or 9th round and take somebody who probably can
Right.
still finish in the top 5. This year, I don't know what it is, but I really want one of these top guys. So I mean, I am gonna go quarterback, and I'm taking Anthony Richardson. But truthfully, this isn't necessarily an advice show; it's more for entertainment. But I would advise that you would actually take James Conner Montgomery here, personally, because I think it's actually the better pick. But I'm not gonna do that.
No, I get it because, and I'm the opposite. I am the resident QB guy, and I drafted Josh Allen in our dynasty startup in the second round because I said I am locking in the number one fantasy QB. Whatever, top 3 guaranteed. I think, and to set and forget it. And the point differential that quarterbacks can have, I think it's a massive advantage. But yeah, I mean, when push comes to shove and you're acting, this is a mock draft. This is a little experiment we're doing. If push comes to shove and I miss out on my quarterback that I'm eyeing, I'm gonna be pissed because that's the cornerstone of your team, in my opinion, especially in a 10-man league with 6-point passing touchdowns plus 300 plus yard bonus points, and like there's a few things in there that benefit the quarterback. And if you have one of those top guys, it makes a world of difference. Anthony Richardson projects to be potentially one of those guys, and with him being your dude, I appreciate you for taking him because I was going to struggle with taking him myself just for the experiment wise, seeing how far I can push wide receiver down to make this an experiment. But since you didn't, you left me with an easy choice. I am on the Amari Cooper hype train. I think he is primed. I don't remember his exact ranking in my official rankings, but he's up there. And I looked at, I mean, I'll pull it up on the screen for you guys too. The wide receivers next in ADP: Christian Kirk, Roma Dunze, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Reed, Jordan Addison. None of these guys hold a candle to what I think Amari Cooper can do this year. And so if I went quarterback there,
Yeah.
if I went Anthony Richardson, my wide receiver two, I think would be in rough shape. And
Rashi Rice is really down there, but I think he would probably be somebody. He is probably going to be suspended. If not for the suspension, though, I think he would be going way higher because I think he probably could be the wide receiver one for that team this year. But
yeah, and I mean he's way down in the ADP, and plus if the suspension wasn't there, like I need someone at my wide receiver two spot, and I'm just gonna throw this out here. Like I said, we're more of a fun entertainment show here. But this is something I just peeped on looking at our draft board here. I have been consistently taking one QB in all of our drafts because I think his value is insane.
oh, I know you're joking.
No, I'm not.
Huh?
Because look at the people behind me. Look at our draft board. Every single one of those teams behind me already has their quarterback. So if I took a quarterback here, I feel like it would be a
not
wasted
team
pick.
5.
No, but we're on our
you'll
way
pick
back
with
around.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this pick here, I don't need to take a quarterback, even if it was an appropriate draft spot for him. At this point, what I'm seeing is a guaranteed value on a quarterback. So I I have someone here that I think could even help my case even more, which I'm gonna do it because I really dislike the wide receivers right now. My boy DeAndre Swift. I
Dang.
think as far as this running back heavy team, to have someone like him,
I would have considered him.
Projected starter. Everyone's saying that there's going to be a timeshare with him and Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert. I think DeAndre Swift is going to be the dude. With a rookie quarterback, getting that receiving work, being his security blanket as my running back 4 with a wide receiver tier that I just don't like right now, I'm in. So, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. I was heavily considering him here. I think I was gonna pass on him. Just because this guy, Terry McLaurin. I've been in on Terry McLaurin every year.
And how has that
It's
gone for you?
It's never necessarily worked out to the extent that you want, right?
No, has
But
not.
he's gonna be my wide receiver 4, and he's one of like 5 players who's had 1,000 receiving yards every single year.
Yeah,
He's got Jaden Daniels this year.
Last 4 years. He's been in the league for 5, but yeah. He was close his rookie year. 919 is a rookie.
Oh, okay. Either way, he produces. So as far as consistency goes, it's just been touchdowns. He just hasn't gotten in the end zone.
No, he's consistent with touchdowns. He's consistently 4, 5, 5, 4 in the last 5 years.
Well, I'm talking about per game.
Well,
anyways,
I'm saying it's consistently below average.
The hope is this is like the first year where it's like, okay, Terry McLaurin could actually take the step forward that he's capable of taking.
Yeah.
As far as being a fantasy wide receiver. This is the year, probably more so next year, to be honest, but this is the year that he has the opportunity to actually finish where I think his talent is, which is probably top 5 in the league. I mean, he makes some ridiculous catches.
He's a great player, and
he's insane.
He
made Sam Howell look okay. He made every quarterback who played for that team look like
he made them look good enough to not get cut. but also to not win football games. Like that
He
was the
made Sam
line.
Howell look good enough to where the Seahawks were like, "Hey, we should sign that guy." So
He's
either way, I'm gonna take Tamarick Lanier.
yeah, good consistency piece for a bit of stability on your team. Um, I'm just concerned with the ceiling with a rookie quarterback, and
Yeah, I understand
I
that,
mean
but he's in my flex spot,
exactly. Now,
so
hell, I
I think
mean
it's a great
he doesn't
flex
even
spot.
have to be in your flex. Oh no, he does. So yeah,
Yeah.
you got one more
All
pick.
right, and awesome. So I basically I played the game there because obviously I really need running back. Well, I don't really need running back because I guess I could put the wide receivers in my flex, but there's a running back here that finished as the running back 2 last year,
Okay.
and he's being drafted in the 8th round, maybe even the next round. He may have made it that far. So I'm gonna take Raheem Mostert here because as to have him as my running back 3, I think that's awesome. Um, my tight end options are becoming a little scarce, but there's still some pretty solid options down there, and at this point, I'm okay with even punting that position. It's not it's not like quarterback tight end unless you get Travis Kelsey, who honestly hasn't. At least last year, he wasn't the Travis Kelsey that you're used to getting. So they're, you know,
I
I
mean,
think it's okay. I think punting the position at tight end has never been better than this year.
I wouldn't say completely punting it, but waiting until like look, Kittle in the 7th round, Andrews and Pitts in the 6th. I think that this 6-7 turn,
Yeah.
if you can get one of those three
I mean,
guys, that's
Bowers,
fine.
Njoku, Ferguson, Goddard,
But I'm also
Hawkinson,
I'm,
Schultz.
bleh. I'm also a tight end snob when it comes to my fantasy team. I want the best of the best. I love having the onesie positions best of the best. So that personally won't be me. Hence
Well,
why I
okay.
drafted the future
But
tight
you
end
have to
one.
admit, this year, the best of the best, the margin is so much smaller than it used to be. There used to be 3 tight ends
Yeah,
that would even put up more than 5 points a game. And their
yeah,
names were Mark Andrews, Travis Kelsey, and George Kittle.
yep.
Now, those 3 tight ends aren't putting up as much as they used to as far as their ceiling.
Well, they just added. We added 3 rookie or second year players, um, in Laporta, McBride, and Kincaid that moved themselves into that what people perceive as the upper echelon. So they
Well,
just
yeah.
doubled the
And,
amount
well,
of
yes. You also had Hawkinson,
right.
uh, you know,
But I'm just saying, like
Ingram's been pretty consistent.
they added 3 total players that could possibly finish as the tight end one. They didn't exist
I,
before.
but my point is, before it was either you draft one of those 3 guys or you don't have a tight end.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
You're hoping for a point a week. I mean, seriously, I'm
Oh,
not
he
even
caught the
joking.
ball. Oh, he's still
Seriously.
playing on the
So
team.
it's like if you caught one pass for one touchdown, you're like, oh my gosh,
I'm
I might win
saved.
the week. So it's completely different landscape now because, I mean, honestly, you can go down the list. Evan Ingram, he'll get you 5 or 6 points a game. Brock Bowers, we don't know, but projected to be pretty good. Njoku was great last year. Ferguson was getting 8 to 10 points a game. Dallas Goedert had his weeks. TJ Hawkinson was really good. He's just a little banged up.
Yeah.
And Dalton Schultz had his weeks. So, and Cole Kmet has Caleb Williams now, so we'll see with that.
Yeah.
So that's just my point. It's like the margin is different. It's more so you're instead of having 15 points or 0, it's 15 points or 8 points.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, you're taking a tight end, right?
No, I'm taking Mostert.
Damn it. All right. No, Mostert's a great pick there. But this is a no-brainer for me. We'll speed this along. Kyler Murray was the quarterback that I was inferring.
I thought that's what you were going to pick last pick.
I would have. Honest to God, I would have. But after noticing that all the picks behind me had
Damn.
their
I really
quarterbacks
want
already,
Jonathan Brooks to come back to me.
I had a feeling that he might be a sneakier target for you, just with you drafting running backs later. But you do
Yeah,
have three
it was
solid.
between him and Mostert, but
Right.
I think I'm gonna take Mostert over him, 100%.
Um, I think, I think this is a situation where I'm gonna have to play the game a little bit. Um, this is a tough decision for me because I've already shored up my onesie positions. Got my quarterback and tight end. So now just finishing out with running backs and wide receivers. So where's the value that I'm gonna find here? Um, at running back, we got Tony Pollard, Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, Zach Moss, Austin Eckler, Jalen Warren. Um, those guys don't excite me. They don't excite me. But I will need some depth at wide receiver and some consistency. So unfortunately, it's not a sexy pick, but I think it's the right one. I think I'm going to take Deontay Johnson.
Okay,
I think
that's surprising.
I don't like it. It doesn't feel good, but when he's projected to be the top target earner on a much improved team, I think he will provide some value for me. If Cooper Kupp goes down, Amari Cooper goes down, I've got someone who I can plug in and get
How are you
guaranteed.
so sure that Adam Thielen's not going to be the top producer for that team?
I am 1,000% willing to be wrong. That Adam Thielen.
I want to bet. Let's make a bet on it.
You
I
want to
do.
bet
I want to
me
bet.
that Adam Thielen will finish as a higher fantasy finish than Deontay Johnson this year? Go on.
Okay.
Say it with your chest.
When I thought about the bet, I was thinking better receiver for the team,
Okay.
as in like more yards.
Well, I mean, it should
I'll
be.
take the bet. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. What's the bet?
I
Hot
don't
Wings
know.
challenge.
We can do a hot wings challenge. Well, we can figure out the logistics later, but we'll do some kind of hot
All right.
food challenge.
Keep us accountable, people.
All right. So
All right. I am surprised you didn't take one of these young bucks, though. To be honest with you,
it's
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in you.
It's all part of the game, my man.
Okay. Anyways, I am still looking for one more running back that would tie my team together, but I think I am gonna pick up another receiver here. Actually, you know what?
I mean, you're sitting with Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, Nico Collins, James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Anthony Richardson, Terry McLaurin, and Raheem Mostert. Decisions.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with my tight end here. I'm gonna take Jake Ferguson.
All that barking. Although, to be fair, well, no, only one tight end went since you talked about it.
All right, then we had Njoku, DeAndre Hopkins, Tony Pollard, Nick Chubb. I was thinking about Tony Pollard there, but I don't know. I'm not super in on him.
If I was gonna take a running back, it was gonna be him. But I'm like, when am I gonna try and put Tony Pollard in my lineup with this group of guys?
I don't know. Well, that's true for you.
Right. So it's different for me and you.
Well, honestly, it's true for me too. As long as my three guys are healthy, I'm never starting Pollard. So yeah.
I mean, but depth is, who would you be most excited to put in your lineup in case someone dropped? That's how you should look at depth.
All right, so we got 2 more picks here. Or wait, did you not do the drafting?
What?
Did you not do drafting defense and kicker?
No.
Okay, awesome. Okay, then we have 4 picks.
Yeah, it's only a 13 round draft here. 2 flex, No kicker, no defense.
All right, cool. So I'll just take you guys through my thought process here. Although it kind of sucks because I don't want Kyle to take my person, but that's the show. So I do want to get one solid running back to finish out. And then I'll probably draft maybe another tight end, maybe another running back or wide receiver. I mean, so we got Zach Moss, Austin Eckler, Trey Benson. I think is pretty sneaky. I'd like to have him on the team. Jerome Ford, Kendre Miller. So those are the running backs that are left. Zach Moss would probably be an awesome pick here. I'm just going in between him and Keon Coleman. Yeah, that's actually who I'm going in between. I think for my team, I need to take Zach Moss. It's going to be the better pick for me. So Kyle can go ahead and take Keon Coleman.
Thank God, bro. You were talking about taking the Young Bucks. I was actually going to snag Brian Thomas instead.
That's who I was like when you were drafting before you drafted Deontay Johnson. I was like, Brian Thomas would be awesome for him here.
Right, and that's who I wanted because
truthfully, I like Brian Thomas more than Keon Coleman. Although I love Keon Coleman,
right,
Florida State, but
it's tough.
For fantasy, I like Brian Thomas more.
I think Brian Thomas will be a little bit more consistent going forward and have just as much of an impact. But I like that's what I'm saying. This is why I took Deontay Johnson, because you were talking about you're disappointed in the game. I was like, that was the game. I knew I had some rookie receivers that had tremendous upside left, and I knew that with just Amari Cooper and
I should have let you get him, honestly.
Who?
Keon Coleman.
Well,
I shouldn't have let you have him.
But you did. And I'm excited because I love my boy Keon. And I think
because now that makes me want to vouch for your team.
Dude, because I'm destroying you at this. And
I don't think you're destroying me. I think my team is pretty good. I think we're going to have a big debate at the end of this.
And we'll put in our group chat, our fantasy group chat after, to blind each screenshot, send in our group chat, and then we'll see what they think as well, because I'm curious.
I like that. We'll put it in the Dynasty chat.
Yeah. All right. So I got Keon Coleman, Deontay Johnson.
Oh, you would have loved to have Blake Corum there, huh?
I would have. I really only like drafting Blake Corum if I'm the Kyron Williams.
Bro, Trey Benson went?
Yeah, bro, he gone.
Bro!
I mean, you took Zach. Congratulations. You have Zachary Moss on your fantasy football team.
Starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah.
All right.
Starting. Trey Benson's a bench player.
And we'll see about that come week 6 when Connor's out. But okay, so we have 3 picks left. I'm sitting with Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, Trey McBride, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper. Oh, I got Amari Cooper Kupp. That's amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a fun team name.
That'd be great. DeAndre Swift, Kyler Murray, Deontay Johnson, Keon Coleman. So I want upside here. I'll look at the total ADP just to see.
Yeah, me too. I wanted Trey Benson. Dude, he was not projected to go, man. Come on.
So this is tough. I'm also going to point out that there was a mini run of backup QBs that just happened at the top of our draft. So that scares me a little. So with that being said, just because I can, Jaden Daniels is my backup quarterback who, with the rushing tandem of Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray, the upside of this quarterback room is insane. I'm going to enjoy throwing 1,000 yards and 2 touchdowns to Terry McLaurin this year on your team. And he will reap the rewards of being
Well, he's not going to start. You have Kyler Murray, so you're not even going to get those points.
Hey.
Sucks for you.
That's fine. I have it shored up.
I'm going to enjoy getting the points that you throw Marvin Harrison.
I'll give you that one. He should have a lot of those. So we'll see. But I'm confident, and just with that little mini QB run, I like to leave with two quarterbacks just because I told you how I feel about quarterbacks in fantasy football. Really want to have it short up. So, bada bing. Oh, by the way, I got my starting quarterback in the 8th round and backup in the 11th. And if that's not punting the position for a quarterback truther like me, I'm proud
It
of
is.
myself.
But I think you got a solid group there. All right. I probably shouldn't, but I am gonna play the game just because I like a little risk in my life. I like living on the edge. Okay, especially when I'm doing mock drafts.
Yeah, put a little red pepper
So
flakes on your pizza.
I do. I love red pepper flakes. I can't eat pizza without red pepper flakes. If you do, you nasty.
I don't like red pepper flakes on my
Red
pizza.
pepper flakes on the pizzas. You're not a paisano.
A paisano.
You're not a paisano if you don't red pepper flakes.
I'll be real with you. I don't know if that's a BS word or not.
Paisano?
Yes. What other word would I be talking about?
I think it means Italian man.
I'm gonna bet that. You
Paisano?
make your pick.
Okay. Anyways, this sucks because I thought I was gonna have Austin Eckler and Trey Benson to choose from on this pick. So I wanted that upside because I think Austin Eckler could. I don't think he's necessarily washed. I think he could honestly go out and have a really good season this year. And Trey Benson could as well. So, whatever. But I said I'm going to take the risk.
And
I'm going to take Adonai Mitchell to pair with Richardson.
oh, he decides to get a little spicy with some upside. I do like Adonai Mitchell though.
Woo, baby! And now I'm going to get Justin Herbert on the way back.
Okay, that's that. You got so lucky that some dickhead decided to grab Kirk Cousins
over Herbert. Let's go.
No, screaming value in the 12th round for a dude who finished as a QB2.
I can't believe he's going that low.
It's honestly
That's
disrespectful.
insane.
But this is a shorter draft, so even though it is the second to last pick of the draft, it is a shorter draft. But so I have 2 more picks left. It's tough here. So I haven't drafted a running back in a while, which is part of the reason, and part of the result of going RB heavy in the beginning. You have a lull in that position because they're supposed to be your anchors. So I'm going to grab a depth piece, and it's going to be a dude that is going to be starting. He's going to get some work, and I'm taking Gus Edwards. He's just a dude on the team that is going to be there when called upon. It's not a sexy pick. God
if you need
damn
to
it.
start him, you'll probably get 8 points out of him.
I'm screaming because
You want to Curtis Samuel?
I want to Curtis Samuel. Oh, that really blows.
Oh man, I really want Jerome Ford.
Well, looks like we both can't have jack shit in this world.
Getting screwed.
I mean, this last pick, I'm not a huge handcuff running back guy. But if
You could take the other Curtis Samuel,
who's the other Curtis Samuel?
Josh Walmer.
Oh yes, he is very much Curtis Samuel.
He's just Curtis Samuel for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Or you could take a 32-year-old Lockett.
I know. I'm looking at the receivers here now, and there's just not. I mean,
Or
is the
you
last
could
pick of the
take
draft.
Xavier Leggett.
No, if I put more than one Panther on my team,
Leggett.
if I put more than one Panther on my team, I might pour bleach in my eyes.
I can't believe you did one.
Listen, man, you saw the vision. You admitted to the vision, and it's a great vision.
I saw the vision. I saw that you could have taken. Bring it back here.
Oh, Jake
DeAndre
Ferguson.
Hopkins or Brian Thomas, and still
I
got Keon Coleman.
could have taken Brian Thomas, but I told you I needed some consistency. Whatever. Let's finish this up. We're right at our hour mark. We're doing great. Um, last pick of the drafts.
Oh,
It's tough because normally, depending on
Wow.
the QB, I might go QB as the last pick of the draft. Um, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna take the 39-year-old Tyler Lockett. What? Air fort me all you want.
That sucks.
Why does that suck? Tell me why that
That's
sucks.
terrible, man.
Who?
He's
Who?
32 years old.
One of the best
And
fantasy assets.
Jackson Smith is going to eclipse him this year. He's not even going to be
Oh
on
well,
the
good
field.
thing I didn't pick him instead in the friggin' 4 rounds ahead of him. Get out of here. It's my last pick of the draft. I've
Just
got
saying.
some. I've got some
There's
ballers
some
on my
upside.
team.
I would rather have Mike Williams. That's all I'm saying.
Off the ACL, you talking about Grandpa? You want to talk
Yes.
about Grandpa here?
Grandpa, Mike Williams is like 28.
Okay, coming off an ACL, I'd rather have a healthy 30-year-old than a
32
busted
year old.
up.
You can't just say 30-year-old. That would be a much different scenario. Anyways, I'm right now. I mean, last pick of the draft. I'm looking for upside.
Mike Williams 29. Thank you.
As far as upside goes,
I need Tyler Lockett's 31.
I mean, I could take like Ben Sinnott, whatever.
Nah.
But I'm gonna take Kendra Miller because if anything happens to Kamara, he's gonna be the guy. He's
Word on the street is
really
it's
good.
Jamal Charles. Kendrick Miller hasn't looked that good.
Well, bull crap. Jamal Charles is gone.
Jamal
He's
Charles
dead.
is. Wait, did I say Jamal Charles? Wait, or did you say
Did
Jamal?
say Jamal Charles. I wish I had caught that in real time though.
No, I caught you. You dumbass.
But you're dumbass. You said Jamal Charles first.
Jamal Williams is the backup.
They're both gone. Jamal Williams, he's probably not even. I mean, he might make the team, but
Hey, I'm just saying.
whatever.
Take your pick and finish, and let's wrap us up here. You gonna take it or what? Oh, okay. Thank you.
I
Chase
scrolled down. I was
Brown.
like, "Oh, Daniel Gibson," but whatever. All right.
All right. So we finished it all up.
So
A quick glance here. I'll scroll down through. Um, I finished with my team. I
can
like
you
going.
switch to team view or no?
Let's see. It highlights it. But yeah, so we'll highlight it here. I had the RB heavy draft, 13 rounds, standard draft. I wanted to build my team around a solid core of running backs. This is what it looked like. Started off with the aces of Brees Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and Devon Achane, followed up by Trey McBride, a top tight end in the tight end slot. Cooper Kupp and Amari Cooper, stalwarts at the position for the last 6-7 years. DeAndre Swift as my first flex player who's projected to be the starting back. Got paid a bunch of money in Chicago. Then Kyler Murray with a solid role in my team with a new number one in town, fully healthy, coming back, ready to go. Some consistency with Deontay Johnson, bona fide one for a not so great team, but the consistency will be there to back up my next rookie pick for a guy who's known to not be the most consistent, but can take the top off of defense in Keon Coleman. Then Jaden Daniels, rookie sensation, providing rushing upside as my backup QB, and then some old faithfuls to wrap me up here with Gus Edwards and Tyler Lockett.
All right, and I drafted Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, and Nico Collins as my three. I was on the other side of the coin, so I was going heavy wide receiver. Then I ended up getting James Cook and Kenneth Walker as my running back 1 and 2. Then Then I went quarterback so I could get Anthony Richardson, have the upside of rushing, and then I got Terry McLaurin as my fourth wide receiver. Then I got Raheem Mostert and Jake Ferguson and Zach Moss. After that, just for upside, I got Adonai Mitchell, Justin Herbert, and Kendra Miller.
Those last 5 picks. I don't know, brother. I don't
Last
know.
5 picks. You don't like my Jake Ferguson pick?
Yeah. I mean, I you know me, I just like having a top tier tight end or a upper tier tight end from a Jake Ferguson. Um, Zach Moss can out of here. Um,
Really? Okay. So this is probably where we would differ there, though. I think Zach Moss is probably. I view him similar to DeAndre Swift.
I
The
think
name
DeAndre
is not
Swift is
there
way more explosive.
for sure. But look what Zach Moss did with the Colts last year. Why? I mean, he's not old. Why can't he do that in the Bengals this year?
Yeah, he can work, and for your team's build, he fits.
That's what
Under,
I'm saying. At least for the build, like I think that was a great pick there because he's going to have 8 to 10 points a game,
yeah,
and he's not even a starter for me.
yeah. No,
I want to hear your opinion. What team would you rather have going down?
well, you can't really go. Yeah, we'll wrap this up here with a quick final case for our. Or if it completely bombed, I could say that yours is better. I think that I like my team better, and here's my case. I got a 2 round value on my quarterback with Kyler Murray and Anthony Richardson. Have I think they have the exact same path forward in fantasy. And so it just depends on which way that falls. So I think they could finish very similarly. Um, Obviously, Trey McBride at the tight end versus Jake Ferguson. I think Trey McBride has the upside and is going to be more involved and higher on the totem pole. But obviously, the big difference here is not the quarterback and tight ends. We both move those down. It's the running backs and receivers. Brees Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and Devon Achane versus Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, Nico Collins. I think at those costs, I think I was able to get better receivers in those middle rounds than you were able to get better running backs. So I think my middle tier receivers, so say my last 4 receivers, Kupp, Cooper, Deontay Johnson, and Keon Coleman versus James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Mostert, and Moss. I think that those guys outshine yours a little bit when we flip-flopped them. Because even if you call our top 3 picks washes, they're all equally elite. That's where the difference comes in. So what that tells me is that you can get better wide receiver value in the middle rounds than you can running back value, which has been for years. So that's my case.
Yeah. All right. Here's what I'm gonna say. Before you started talking, I was just going to just tell you how you're completely wrong, and that was all I was gonna say, pretty much. But as you were talking, I was scrolling down when you mentioned that if you take the 3 top picks out of it, right?
Right.
Because I think if you take our top 3 picks for the both of us, I think it's really equal, especially since I ended up getting Tyreek Hill. That
Right.
was kind of the issue there for us, is that I got Tyreek Hill, so getting him kind of made it a little obsolete because, I think
Right.
Jonathan Taylor I'd rather have than Marvin Harrison. Honestly, I'd rather have Nico Collins than Devon Achane. And then I got Tyreek Hill. So it's like
Right.
that kind of screwed it up a little bit. But if you take that out of it, I was just going, you're recovery for my recovery. So you were able to get Cooper Kupp and Amari Cooper. That's great for your wide receiver 1 and 2. I was able to get James Cook and Kenneth Walker. Also great to have as my wide receiver 1 and 2 after drafting, 3 straight. I was able to get Anthony Richardson. You're able to get Kyler Murray. Great recoveries for both of us.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift and Mostert. I see them pretty equally. So as I was going down the list, instead of tearing you apart, truthfully, they're both great teams.
Boo.
I would be.
Boo.
Hold on. They're both great teams. I think I would be extremely happy with both of them. My team's better. And here's why. The same reason you say is the same reason I say.
So it's just differing of opinion.
It's the end of the draft.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's more so your team as a whole. I don't think you should have gotten DeAndre Swift, and probably not Gus Edwards either. Because both of your wide receivers are old. Neither of them have necessarily the highest upside as far as you're talking about finishing, top 5.
Well, if you're not getting a wide receiver that can finish top 5 in the 5th and 6th round.
No, and you're right.
So
you're right, but you didn't really. The issue is they're both old. They're both injury prone. And the people that you chose to have as your backups to them are Deontay Johnson, Keon Coleman, and Tyler Lockett. So if anything happens to even just one of your top 2 wide receivers, you are absolutely screwed. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just praying that Keon Coleman hits.
I mean.
And you're praying that Deontay Johnson...
Tyler Lockett's going to be involved. He's going to be there, and he's going to put up fantasy points. And Deontay Johnson is going to do the same. Those aren't upside plays.
Okay, but you're talking about...
Okay, so what about...
I don't see... Deontay Johnson has never played on the Panthers, so it's hard to tell. But Adam Thielen is still there, and he is going to demand targets. Like, he's not going to be nothing, I don't think. Jonathan Mingo also is coming into his 2nd year, so he very well could demand targets as well. I mean, Deontay Johnson is like a 6th-round draft pick.
He's a great wide receiver.
He is great. The issue is he's on the Panthers with Bryce Young.
I'm fully aware of that, and I think his volume will.
All I'm saying is the issue is, as far as having somebody there who you know is going to produce, that's your issue here. Is DeAndre Johnson is a not known commodity. Keon Coleman's not known. And Tyler Lockett is very well on his way out.
Okay, so my turn.
On the flip side, I'll say it for you. Raheem Mostert
is 39 years old.
Maybe. He's not 39 years old. I think he is like 33, though. But he's running back 2 last year.
Okay, which will not happen again.
All I'm saying is Lockett wasn't the wide receiver 2. Zach Moss in spot of Jonathan Taylor last year, if he had just taken over for the entire year, probably would have finished as probably the running back 2, honestly. If not the running back 3. I don't even think that's far out to say.
You got Grandpa Mostert and Zach Moss on a brand new team. So you've got the exact same situation I do with Grandpa Lockett and Deontay Johnson on a new team, just at flip positions.
I have more. I'm just saying I have more. Deontay Johnson, Keon Coleman, and Tyler Lockett you could be dropping them from your team after week 2. Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, they're going to produce for me to some extent. That's my argument. But like I said, they're both good teams. I just think that you didn't end up getting players late at the wide receiver position that were just at least going to produce enough in case somebody gets injured.
I will say the one thing where I could have tried to help with that would have been not drafting DeAndre Swift and going wide receiver then. But I'm looking at the wide receivers that went in between there, and I don't think any of them possess that upside too, unless
Well,
I
dude, you
went.
could have. I mean, you could add Rashi Rice.
I don't. But then okay, then that what if Cooper Cup or Amari Cooper get hurt and my wide receiver 3 is on a 6-game suspension? So
Yes, but I mean
you
Terry
can make
McLaurin,
that.
Christian Kirk.
I mean Terry McLaurin is I think is Deontay Johnson.
What?
I think he's the brand value. He is. They are both
Bro,
extremely
if
talented.
if if Deontay Johnson is staying on the Steelers, I would be with you there. 100% actually.
I'm.
But Deontay Johnson's going to the Panthers with
I don't
Zach Wilson 2.0.
know.
Bro,
Well,
like I don't understand your logic with Deontay Johnson here, dude. He's going to
the
Zach Wilson
exact
2.0.
logic that you put for what's his face,
Terry
Adam
McLaurin's
Thielen.
getting Jaden Daniels.
I'm just saying, bro.
And he's been consistent without a good quarterback. He's had Bryce Young and
So
been
has
good.
Deontay Johnson. I'm just saying they're very similar. We could bicker about this for days. Well, we're gonna wrap it
All right.
up.
Leave it up to a vote. Check our Instagrams for
Yeah, we'll post the screenshots.
results.
Let us know. We'll ask our buddies internally as well. Roast us if you want. Counter argue us if you want. We're ready and raring to go. You can follow us on Twitter X at Last Call Curry and Last Call Carl. Instagram, what's where we'll post our stuff mainly. Some reels, some updates, things like that at Last Call Fantasy Football. And obviously you're here on the YouTube at Last Call Fantasy Football as well. This has been an interesting mock draft, a choice of strategies, and
Sorry, I yelled at you.
I'm not sorry that my team's better than yours. It's been fun. We'll do more of these. Ready for the season to start. And as always, next time, don't miss the last call for fantasy football. See ya.